来个队来，好吧，站边上。
哦。
那你就是说，如果你方便，你想叫我会接你，你打个电话就可以了，这个没问题。
It's called Tang Tower.
可以吧？快点来，快点来，给帅哥拍照，快点来。
Good morning, folks, and welcome to spring morning in Wuhan. Today's a perfect day. It is not raining. It's not supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be kind of sunny / overcast all day. So today is a perfect day to get out and about and hopefully climb up a bloody mountain. Yeah, we're not staying in Wuhan. We're heading to the high-speed rail station to catch a train to Macheng, Hemp Town, my old stomping ground, the first place I moved to when I was a fresh university graduate, 21-year-old. I moved to this little town, taught English for a year, but nobody took me up the mountain. So that's the plan for today. I was kind of hoping to get the 8 o'clock train, but boarding will start in less than 15 minutes and we still need a queue for a ticket. Because I stopped for pre-7 o'clock breakfast, I think we'll miss that, but there's one at 8:30. So that's the one we'll aim for, assuming there are tickets left. Let's go to the ticket office.
现在会是？
今天早上到麻城北。
麻城北现在8点36。
8点36吧，回来的票。
回来什么时候？
今天晚上麻城北到汉口6点多。
6点多钟是吧？你是办什么？
我到下关吧1号的。
来个队来，好吧，站边上。
哦。
晚上6点多钟是吧？6点
半可以。
6点30。对。当天去当天回啊。
对。
我是82块。
Right, we got our ticket for the 8:30 train. She did offer me the 8. We probably could have made it, but I kind of want to get my lunch sorted. I'm just going to go to the bakery and pack a lunch because I feel like we're going to be pressed for time today. Yeah, I'd rather get everything organized here, then we don't have to faff about when we're in Macheng. Right, bakery did not have a lot, but they did have sandwiches. So yeah, it's weird that this little pack of sandwiches costs like 11 kwai, which is again not much. It's over $1, but for almost the same price I could have got a big old bowl of noodles with beef in it. Not quite the same price, but yeah, it's just one of those things where kind of baked goods or bread goods just cost more. I guess it's just economy of scale. Our train on the board has just gone green. I'm going to wait for the queue to diminish a little bit and then find the manual entry because we need to do it manually. Train's final destination is Shanghai, so it seems like a pretty popular one. Alright, that's our train down there. Once again, my passport failed. It's failed every time, but they always check my ticket and let me through. Right, we're looking for carriage number 8. Let's get on the train. I'm on the train. There's a tour group. Get the instructions on what to do. We are off the train about 40 odd minutes later in my old stomping ground of Macheng, Hemp Town. I keep saying that. Ma, I guess it means hemp. I think it's just the name. But anyway, the train station is kind of on the north end of town, so we need to take a bus into the city and then, yeah, another bus to the mountain. Why are we going to this mountain? Well, nobody ever told me while I lived there because it would have been a cool thing to see, but there is a 1,200-year-old tower on the top of this mountain. It's got a pretty cool story. So, yeah, let's head into town and then head up the mountain. Macheng is actually really known for that tower. That mountain in the background. It's covered in, I think, chrysanthemums, but I've been there. I went there when I used to live here. not going there today. We're going to a tower. Tower. Well folks, off the bus. Despite the fact that I lived here for a year back when I was a sprightly 21-year-old, I don't think I ever took the bus here. It's a pretty small town in terms of Chinese standards. Like there's less than 300,000 people living here, which by New Zealand standards would make it pretty big, but yeah, 270 odd thousand people in the kind of urban area. So I always just took taxis. More of a bus man now. Not gonna lie folks, I'm pretty confused as to where the hell I'm going. The bus stop I got off at was totally unmarked. There was no shelter, no board with the numbers of the buses that stop there and the name of the stop that you're at. So I'm gonna walk on ahead to see if there is a marked bus stop which has our second bus on it. I'm hoping this is the bus stop. It looks like a bus stop. And the bus I want is not listed. So yeah, the bus I'm waiting for is actually not a city bus. It's kind of a coach which runs between towns. I did see it fly by, but I didn't have time to flag it down. So we wait for the next one. It's 10:30. I'm picking they're not going to be all that regular, so I'm a little bit gutted that I missed that one, but at least now we know what we're looking for, and hopefully this is the right spot. Well folks, I've been here a wee while, and I gotta admit, the coach trip plus the 6-kilometer walk up the mountain is getting less appealing by the minute, so I am thinking we hail a cab, pay the 50 kwai, and get up the hill that way. Let's see if I can get this to work. First time.
你是新西兰人，你在我们这边，你在白子塔是去看？
就看一下嘛，我没去过啊。
那你的汉语怎么说的这么流利啊？
哎呦，我住在中国好几年了，你的普通话也还蛮标准的。
哎呀，我的马马虎虎啊，毕竟来说我们是中国人嘛，是吧？
但是很多人都是会方言嘛，不会普通话的。
对，有些人的说普通话的方言那个口音非常重。
哎，你去过这个白子塔没？
去过啊，白子塔我去过呀。
我纠结要不要打个的啊，还是就坐公交？
你这个肯定要打的，你坐公交到不了的。我不骗你，因为我可以说，我这个人我是也是很直接的，然后跟你交通那个交流，我感觉到很随意，很觉得很愉快，所以说我不会骗你的，你放心。
我知道你是本地人，
在我本地人来看来，你是外国人，是贵宾。我一定不会骗你的，因为这是关系到一个国家或者是一个地区、一个地方的形象的。特别是我们出租车司机，如果你有其他途径，到时候有人接你，或者说你有碰到这样的车，那个没关系。如果说你确实没有，或者是你想要回马城来，那你就是说，如果你方便，你想叫我会接你，你打个电话就可以了，这个都没问题。好，谢谢。不用客气。
马上不是还有那个是菊花吗？
菊花。对。哎，那你应该。去龟峰山去看一看呢？
我去过的。
哦，你去过了是吧？
好几年，20年前差不多去过的。
20年前去过，跟现在那里变化很大了，
是吧？
那现在你再去，那根本不是以前那个龟峰山了。
都发展了吗？
对，现在那里面的什么索道电梯啊，这些什么都有，而且里面现在扩了，搞得很漂亮。原来我是爬上去了。你们呢都是喜欢爬，我看你们外国人都是喜欢爬山。你有几个孩子啊？2个。一男一女。都是在新西兰那边上学。对。哎呀，不错。
你呢？
我也是2个。
你2个？对。那你孩子们多大呀？
我的大的在上大学。
在哪里上大学啊？在
武汉的那个文华学院。
哦，那过年什么的都回来吧？5·1回来会不会？
回来，要回来，因为武汉
很方便嘛。对。那小的呢？
小的在上初中1年级。
那你上班谁接送孩子呢？
接送孩子就我啊。是吧？我每天早上把他送到学校里面去，晚上把他接回来。
这样好，你可以自己控制自己的时间。
哎，是的，有时间接嘛。
那很好。
我的小孩子这个小的学习成绩还不错。
是吧？那很好。Well, folks, we are here. I took a taxi. Cost me 55 kwai. Driver, friendliest dude in the world. He said he's even going to wait for me. I guess because there's probably not many fares for him going back. It kind of works for him. and it works for me because it's going to be out this way. Pretty much impossible to get a taxi going back the other way outside of a 6-kilometer walk. It's called Baizi Tower, which I think is just pretty much a name. The guy has said he's willing to wait up to like an hour, but I figure we move our backsides and try not to make our man wait too long, and then yeah, then we can head back on in. I'm not sure if this place has got a ticket to pay, but we'll get up these steps and I'll tell you about this tower. That's the tower. Now this tower we're looking at was built back during the Tang Dynasty, which is a dynasty kind of known for its culture, poetry, that kind of thing. And when the emperors were doing a good job, they had a bit of extra cash on hand. And what better way to splash some cash than to build yourself a big old tower up in the hills in the middle of nowhere. I am not entirely sure why they chose this location. Maybe this area was prosperous back in 783 when they built this thing. It's 1200 years old. Like, there's some spots in China where like the history is kind of gone. Either stuff was destroyed during a war or stuff was destroyed during the Cultural Revolution. Like, there's been so many wars, it's just like stuff got smashed. But this one, 1200 years old. Now the driver did say on the way here the tower has undergone a bit of maintenance. Like, you can see some of the bricks have kind of been, like, some new brickwork's been put on. But you see what I mean about the surrounding countryside really kind of having a whole lot of not much. So it's a bit of a trek to get here. Now, I mentioned Chinese kind of historical sites often getting destroyed during wars, during floods, during the Cultural Revolution, political upheaval, that kind of stuff. Sadly for this tower, it is also not excluded. The tower is legit. It's 1200 years old. It's had a bit of maintenance on it. We all need a bit of maintenance every now and again, right, as we age. But if you notice, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but the top 2 floors are actually a slightly different color. And as I can hear fireworks going off in the background, it's kind of fitting because there were fireworks on this tower. The Japanese, it always comes back to the Japanese. The Japanese, when they were here in this part of China, decided to blow up the top 2 levels. I guess they were worried about people spying on them from the top of the tower, but the Japs blew up the top 2. Hello, 你好。你们是第一次来吗？是的。跟我一样。你们是爬上来的吗？哦，你比我厉害一些，我坐车的。
没有，不是，我们也是把车开这里。
哦。
你怎么跟我讲的那么好呢？
学了蛮长时间的。
学蛮长时间的。哎呦。
而且我老婆是武汉人。
哎呀，太好了。
So yeah, Japanese blew up the top 2 floors. It's kind of one of those visual reminders for the Chinese people about events which took place back in the 1930s, 1940s. So yeah, they haven't forgotten. Visual reminder. So yeah, it's like 34 meters high. You can't go in now, sadly. Our friends back there are taking social media posts. Yeah, so it's all blocked off. You can't go in. But it's like 9 floors, and it's just those 2 top ones which look slightly different, that are kind of refurbished, new ones. Everything else is at its core 1200 years old. So it's maybe a little bit of a pity that this tower is as far out in the countryside as it is. I'm sure the visitor numbers would be greater if it were kind of more centrally located, but maybe it's a good thing. Like, if this was downtown somewhere in a big city, there's no way you would be able to get up and literally touch it as we just did. You would have it all fenced off, and I'm sure it'd be not quite that, a little bit of something special. There's a bullet train going by in the distance. But yeah, it was a mission of mine to come and see this jobby before heading back to NZ, because as I said, it's a proper bit of kind of, is it ancient history if it's 1200 years? But it's a proper bit of history, and it's in my backyard. I used to live in the neighboring city for a year when I was a sprightly 21-year-old. Nobody even told me to come here. I could have probably come, because as I said, I never took the bus when I used to work here, because I was either taxiing or my school had a driver. I'm sure I could have convinced the school's driver to come bring me up the mountain. But yeah, almost 20 years later, we are here at the Baizi Tower. Also, I know we're really out in the countryside now, because there is relentless fireworks going on, which is something which is not really allowed in the big cities anymore. But in the small towns, they love them some fireworks. Farewell, Baizi Tower. We may never meet again, but you're pretty impressive. Now let's head on into town. I'll hit up my old school, the #1 high school, middle school of Macheng City. See if the guards will let me in. See if my foreign face will work as kind of a pass or not. All right, our taxi man is still there, patiently waiting for us for the last kind of half an hour or so. So yeah, let's not keep him waiting any longer. Hey.
来给我拍一个，我跟帅哥先合个影。嘿，哎，可以吧？快点来，快点来，给帅哥拍照，快点来！来，给我拍一个。要拍照啊？
你看抖音应该被老婆刷到了。
会不会？
不会，他不玩抖音。
好，OK，谢谢。
好，不用谢，不用谢。They wanted photos with the handsome man, apparently. All they had was me. 这是麻城一中嘛？都换位置了吗？
这新一中。
新一中。
对。
Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou is. 你好。